All right. Welcome, everyone, to the official launch of the Couchcasters podcast. I'm Jeff. He's Mercer. We're just a couple of guys sitting on the couch talking sports. We got eyeballs and opinions. That's kind of where we're going with this. So, anyway, Mercer, what's up, dude? Good to see you.
Jeff, my brother, what's going on, man? I'm happy to be here today. We got so much to talk about, so many opinions
Man, do we ever?
to regurgitate. So I'm excited about this one, man. We got a lot to talk about.
Yeah, me too. First thing I want to do is thank everyone that subscribed to the YouTube channel. All 18 of you. I don't know who it is. Don't know why, but you did. So we like to just say thank you for that. Hopefully we can entertain you. If you decide to listen, we can entertain you and just, help you kill an hour. So thank you for following and subscribing to the channel.
And for those of you listening who haven't subscribed, please subscribe. It gives us a huge boost in confidence. Of course, we're just having a good time, just having fun, entertaining and things like that. So we appreciate every subscriber. The original 18, we call you guys our seed subscribers. Because of you 18, it's going to grow and blossom into a beautiful
The OG 18. The OG
18.
OG 18. OG 18.
Yeah, man.
All right, so out of the gate, man. So Super Bowl.
Yes.
Super Bowl LVI. What a game that was. I mean, I got to say, I was astonished at the competitiveness of it. I thought, the more we got towards the game, I kind of started thinking the Rams were just going to be too much for them, just because they were better really at every skill position.
Right.
I mean, really, Cincinnati doesn't really have anybody that's light years better than the Rams do.
Well, look, before we even go there, let's revisit our predictions, bro. Let's not skip over the prediction phase. The last episode, you said that the Bengals were going to win the game. And I said that the Rams were going to win the game.
I believe you told me to stop sipping on the beverage I was sipping on, which,
I told you, look at that, you still got it.
Here's to everyone. A little bit of Gentleman Jack for the evening.
I got a little Penelope bourbon myself, but
all right,
no, man. So let's talk about it, man, because the Bengals for a while there, like at the beginning of the game, out the gate, the Rams looked like they were gonna chokehold them and no holds barred, no mercy. OBJ goes down. The Bengals get this, and I'm gonna tell you something. The Bengals get this second win coming out of halftime after the Dr. Dre, halftime performance. They hit him with a quick touchdown. Stafford gets the jitters, throws the pick. And all of a sudden, the Bengals are looking like, yo, we got this. So I'm a little surprised. So I guess, Jeff, that kind of speaks to the impact of OBJ. A guy that he left the Giants, he went to the Browns, they couldn't make it work. And we know that was Baker Mayfield's fault, apparently.
He was getting killed too. They were just slaughtering him.
Yeah.
So in the media was just killing that guy.
They were killing him, man. And a lot, and we forgot the type of generational talent this dude apparently is. So I'm gonna let you talk about it since your Bengals got smacked around. What were your notes?
My Bengals. Whoa.
Well, you're a Steelers fan, but you rooted for.
That was all part of the ploy.
Oh, is that what it was? Covert agent.
Ain't my Bengals, man.
My bad.
Whoa. I heard from my Steeler brethren all week for picking the Bengals. They disowned me, ridiculed me, told me I was going to turn in my terrible towel. But I'm still here. But it was a huge factor, Beckham going down, because they couldn't cover him. The two catches he had 50 yards and a touchdown, and I don't know that they could have. I don't know they had anything for him. Right. And then the turf gods got him, non-contact ACL rip, just like Jamison Williams, just like John Mechie.
Yeah, man.
I mean, I don't know, man. I see too many non-contact ACL rips now. I don't understand if it's the synthetic turf they're using now or what, but I don't see, I've never seen 3 ACLs blown out in a month and a half and nobody got touched.
It's a good point, man.
I just don't, I don't see how that's possible, but here we are. It happened. The Rams had to adjust. And now, to the Rams' credit, they really didn't have a lot going. And then the last drive, that 15-play drive, they just said, "We're throwing it to Kupp. Don't matter where he is, who's covering him, where he's going, what route he's running. We're throwing it to that guy." And that's what they did.
Right.
And they got down there and they got the win.
It's crazy. It just proved that like stars win the games. Like that it factor, that X factor that those guys have, that the average good NFL player, they can take it to another level. And I felt like that's what the Bengals should have done on their last drive with Jamar Chase. He was cooking Jalen Ramsey really the entire game. He got what he wanted, and they got cute.
Agreed.
They threw away from him. I'm like, okay, what was the first down play? He throws a little, he throws the pass to Chase. Chase catches on Ramsey. I'm like, all right, cool, keep feeding him. Follow the cut model, because the Rams did that on the goal line drive. They threw the cut 4 straight plays. So
something about that Chase catch when Ramsey made the gamble and missed it, and Chase went up the sideline and ducked out of bounds. It looked like if he would have cut back in, he could have rumbled for another 15 yards. And they had 2 timeouts.
Right.
So I don't know why he stepped out of bounds like that. I don't know if he was just thinking, got to get out of bounds.
And that may have been it too. Because they did burn a timeout or 2 on the previous possession that the Rams had. So I think he was trying to conserve the clock. But your point stands valid. I think he might have had flashbacks of the Cowboys, how we goofed during our playoff game, not getting down in enough time. But anyway, yeah, man, I just, they just, I don't know, man. If you got stud players, bro, give them the ball. Like you said, P-Ron in the game instead of Mixon, bro, for God knows whatever reason. I mean, you don't do that. So, maybe that's coaching. Maybe, I don't know, nerves. I don't know, bro. But that was a miscalculation on their part, in my opinion. So,
it was definitely a crazy game. I mean, I just couldn't get them. I thought the Bengals had them, and then the Rams, came back, and then the Bengals went up by a touchdown, and then it was like once they went up by a touchdown, that was it. Yeah, I think they had 50 yards of offense after they got up. They kicked that field goal to go up 7. Right. I think the rest of the way they had 50 yards.
Well, dude, they couldn't get any offense going, and it's so crazy because the Bengals defense did a lot better than I thought they were going to do. My man Wilson, number 55, the linebacker on the Bengals.
Bro, their defensive line is
it was crazy,
legit, man.
It was crazy, but the Rams could not run the ball, and they had all 3 of their running backs healthy. Henderson came back. They had a lot of depth. Akers, they had a lot of depth, and they couldn't get anything going. So that was a little shocking to me too. But the Bengals couldn't really run the ball. I don't think they really tried. I think they could have, but they didn't try.
I thought Mixon was really running the ball well
on the edges. Yeah,
when he was getting the ball. Now, why he wasn't in the game on the drive for the Super Bowl,
right?
Why you put the backup running back in? I don't understand that.
Right.
And then it came down to it, 3rd and 1, and they give it to him, and he gets blown up. And then that play that Burrow got sacked, that ball landed right at Piron's feet. Yeah, if he had dove for it, he probably would have caught it. But I think he was kind of flat-footed because he thought Burrow was going down, and then somehow Burrow got the ball off, and I think it caught him off guard, and he couldn't lunge for it, and it just kind of caught him flat-footed.
It was just funny because I agree with that. It was just funny because the game, for all the hype that it had, it kind of ended weirdly to me. It was kind of a flat ending. The Aaron Donald sack, and then it was just like you were looking like, okay, and it was just over. And I was like,
man, like you said, it just ended.
It was anticlimactic. It just kind of ended, and it was like, okay,
wait, what? It just ended. Yeah, it was like kind of like it was over. Like
it was like
that quick.
Yeah, Donald's running around pointing at his ring. Helmet off the on the field. So I don't know, man. It was a good game. I don't know where I would rank it all time. Some people thought it was boring. I thought it was a good. I thought the game was good.
It was a good game. It wasn't an all-time game, but it was a good game. It was a couple of teams. What's funny? I was thinking about this. And Nick Wright said it this morning on First Things First. Josh Allen, the Bills sitting at the house going, man, we'd have waxed both these squads.
Probably.
Come on, man. What are we doing sitting at the house? We'd have waxed both these teams.
Hey, my early Super Bowl prediction for next year, I think the Bills go, bro. I think the Bills go next year.
Bills are on the verge.
Yeah, man. Josh Allen is such a beast. But let's take a step back. So we talked about the game a little bit, So I want to ask you, your favorite commercial, the worst commercial in your opinion, because I was deep into the commercials, bro. I was like, okay, I like this.
There were some good ones.
So what was your favorite? What was your favorite?
Before I get going, I just want to shout out to Kevin for joining the chat. Funny name for joining the chat. Kevin's my old boss years and years ago when I worked at State Farm. So that's where I met Kevin. He's joining us. So shout out to my boy Kevin down in Baldwin County. It's Chief Brock. He's a police chief. So
okay. Appreciate your service.
Funny name. I don't know who that is, but he's calling you out on the ceiling fan. So.
The ceiling fan is on. You just can't see the shadow. Hey, bro, I sweat, man. I gotta have a fan. The air conditioner works. I just like the ceiling fan. You know, it's a personal preference of mine. So shout out to Kevin, funny name, man, for sure, man. We appreciate
y'all dropping the comments in.
Most
There's
definitely.
5 joined, but I can't see who the 5 are. It just says 5 live viewers, so I can't see who the 5 are. I'll have to figure that out as we go. But
that's just 5 more eyeballs than we have. Let's do it. What was
5 more eyeballs?
10. That's 10.
So commercials. Man, there was the one I think I liked the most, not because it was a great commercial, but just because of what it meant to me, was the Sopranos.
I like that one.
Meadow and AJ. I can't remember what the car company was.
It was a Chevy.
But was it Chevy? Okay.
Yeah.
But that intro song to the Sopranos, that Sopranos intros, for those that don't watch Sopranos, that's the greatest intro of any TV show, in my opinion, of all time. That song and that montage of Tony riding through Jersey on his way to his house, passing all that stuff, smoking that cigar. That is, my mom's in the chat. Hey, Mom.
Hey, Mama Qualio.
Anyway, so that was my favorite one, I think, just because it threw me back to The Sopranos, which is one of my favorite shows of all time. And that was probably my favorite one just because of that. Now, as far as like the actual commercial itself, it was just a ho-hum car commercial, but The Sopranos intro is the greatest TV intro, I think, of all time. That's just my opinion. And so that really took me back to that time where I was watching that show, and I actually just rewatched it here about 6 months ago. So that was probably my favorite.
What about you? Yeah. Well, man, honestly, first of all, you misspoke. If you haven't seen Sopranos, I don't know what rock you've been living under. You have to watch this. You
get out from under it.
Huge disservice. Greatest.
You got to get on that
for sure.
You got to get on that.
But my favorite commercial, the Sopranos Chevy commercial did stand out to me. My favorite, and you and I talked about this before the pod. Man, that Coinbase commercial, bro, brilliant.
That was
commercial. I mean,
did I read that crashed that server?
Dude. I already had a Coinbase account. I was like, the hell is it? Of course, I didn't know. And I was like, oh yeah, I got it. But I had to do it, bro. And it was almost like, you remember, like in '93, Michael Jackson does I think it was '93. Michael Jackson does the halftime show. He comes out on stage and just stands there, and he just takes it all in. It was kind of that situation with the Coinbase. You were like, what is about to happen with this colorful square playing Pong all over my screen? So,
well, honest to God, there's an episode of The Office, that cold open of The Office, where they're all in the conference room, and on the DVD screensaver, that thing's bouncing around, and Michael Scott's giving them this talk, and they're not paying any attention to him. They're just watching that thing in the screen, and it finally hits up in the corner exactly, and they all celebrate and walk out. And Michael thinks it's because he was giving them this great pep talk or this great meeting he had, and nobody was listening to anything.
Right.
And so that's really what I was watching. So while we were watching it, I was going, is it going to hit the corner? Is it going to hit the corner? No. Okay.
See, dude, you thinking like a smart person. I was looking at the boxes change colors. I was like, what's the next color? Purple.
Well, to each his own, right? So everybody found a little something different in it.
I got to think on a higher level, brother. I can't be out here. But no, that was a good commercial. I really like that one. Like you said, the Sopranos commercial. I'm gonna be honest with you. I like the Doritos commercial. It was a Cooler Ranch flavor. It's flaming hot Cooler Ranch Doritos. I got some Cooler Ranch in the cabinet right now. I got to get the flaming hot. I was like,
was that the one where the animals were like?
It was, because
sloth
you don't
was
get
out
it
there.
Yes.
Yeah. That the sloth was out there like pawing at it and stuff.
Yeah, I'm gonna buy 2 bags. Yeah, but limited time only. By the way, I think you thought about The Office because over my shoulder is an Office calendar.
I see Kevin back there.
I think that's his name. My wife watches it. I kind of watch it every now and then. But you
gotta get on that too, full time. Yeah.
I gotta do better, bro. I gotta do better. But now, worst commercial. What was the worst commercial in your opinion?
I don't know. There was some Toyota commercial where it was like a minute and a half of I don't know what I was watching, and then at the end it was like Toyota, beyond great or whatever the slogan was. But I just remember sitting there watching the commercial, and me and my buddies were looking at each other, and I was like, "What is this commercial for?"
Right.
And then at the end, it was Toyota, and I said, "What?" What?
Oh, they were doing the electric car, right? Was it
Hey,
that one?
Merk, this is my cousin I was telling you about watching this now, the social media lady. So,
Michelle, what's happening?
hey, Michelle, and my cousin
Hey.
Mike, big Steeler fan, up
go.
in Reading, PA. So, thank you for joining us, Big Mike and Michelle. Love you guys.
Most definitely.
Anyway,
I think, dude.
So yeah, that was the worst commercial to me. Was that Toyota one? I don't even know what it was, but it was.
Bruh, it
made
was
no
not.
sense.
It couldn't have been worse than the GM Austin Powers commercial. That commercial was pure ass.
Was that
bro.
the Dr. Evil and
Yes,
and
bro.
Scott Evil and
Oh my lord!
and he had
man.
like a baby. He was like he had the
Yes.
baby on the satchel and stuff. And
Dude, it was horrible. That was the worst commercial of the night.
they had all the OG folks though. Rob Lowe was in there playing number one, and then what's her name was playing Frau for Business.
It didn't matter. Bro.
I mean, it was.
It aged horribly. That was terrible. That was a terrible commercial. That was bad. That was bad. I did like the Lay's commercial with Seth Rogen and Paul Rudd.
Paul Rudd. Yeah, that was pretty funny. Then he married the horror movie, the little thing from the horror movie. That's what
the demon chick. Yeah.
Demon chick, yeah.
That was funny.
Good.
I like that one. Yeah, man. So I like that one. So those kind of stood out to me. It was a few others.
Yeah.
That were more sentimental, but I like those. The Larry David commercial for FTX.
That was pretty funny. Yeah, that was pretty funny.
So yeah, man.
Yeah.
So
but I'd have to say that Sopranos one was my favorite just because of that song and that intro. And every time I hear that song, it just takes me back to watching that show and how excited I would get every Sunday night on HBO when that song would hit.
Yeah,
boom, chicka, like that, and I was just like, "Oh man, this is the show."
Yeah, man.
And so I heard that last night, and I just started not last night, but Sunday night, I just started hollering.
Yeah, man.
Oh, that's Sopranos, and then you caught a glimpse of Jamie Lynn Sigler's face, and I was like, "That's Meadow. They brought back Meadow." And then you see Robert Ilker or Robert Eiler. I'm sorry, the AJ, and I mean that was just a great. Yeah, that was just a great throwback for me.
Yeah, man. One thing I noticed too on the commercials. It was a lot of, I can tell where we're headed towards, I guess, in our society, because all of the cars are like electric now. And that was probably the electric car Toyota commercial that was pure butt and dookie, the one that you talked about.
I mean, I don't even know what it was.
Yeah, I think they were trying to, unveil their electric car. But also, I noticed that every alcoholic drink is out of the cans now. They had Crown in a can. I was like, bro, how you going to put Crown in a can?
Crown in a can?
Bro. They have Crown Royal in a can like it's and they got crazy flavors. So every alcoholic drink is going to be in cans now, apparently. So I was
you don't crack open a Crown on a can and chug it like a cold beer, right?
I'm gonna try it. I think we should try it. We should try it and see what happens.
Let me know how that works out for you.
No, I ain't trying to get sick, dog. You tripping?
I'm going with a little sippy on the.
Nah, I don't want no Crown in the can. I don't know what that is, but I don't know. I think a lot of people. A lot of people may buy it. They had like different flavors, but I thought it was I thought that was interesting. We can see the trend with the commercials. So
Michelle giving us some insight here.
They do make them. Well, it's funny. I put seltzer water in my alcoholic beverages, so maybe that.
I'm about to say you just mentioned that earlier.
I just mentioned bourbon and seltzer water, so maybe that's for me. I'm gonna have to do it. I'll put it on the.
One drip seltzer water. three pours bourbon.
Hey, if anybody from Crown watches, I like Crown out of the can. I feel like I'm gonna put it in a bag, sit on the corner. I like that.
That'll work.
Yeah, that should work perfect. So, man. So now, okay, Super Bowl halftime, bro. What were your thoughts, man? It was historic, right?
Dude,
or did you feel like it was?
Dude, that I can't even put into words how amazing that halftime show was. I never really got into Mary J. Blige or haven't really gotten into Kendrick Lamar.
Okay.
But M, Dre, Snoop, and 50, I mean, that was iconic to me. That was entire Burn CD generation was singing that song. I sang every lyric to every song except Mary J's and Kendrick Lamar's, but I sang every lyric to every song sitting on that couch in my buddy's living room. And was loving every minute of it. I was sad that we had to play a third quarter. I just wanted him to keep playing. Just keep playing tracks, man, from back in the day. We called it, though. We didn't get the whole Forgot About Dre, but we got the hook for it. We got Still DRE.
Yeah, we did.
We got California Love. That's the three that we called.
Yeah.
But when I mentioned this earlier, when Dre sat down at the piano and played that intro to that Tupac song,
I ain't mad at you.
I lost it, man. I was like, here comes the hologram. Please let there be the hologram. We didn't get the hologram, but just the simple fact that Dre played that little intro on the piano was enough of a Tupac shout for me. And I mean, it was iconic to me seeing all 5 of them up there at the end, singing that song, singing Still DRE, and Dre just looking around going, yeah, I built this. This is all because of me.
It was, dude, it was crazy.
Iconic in my opinion.
It easily, man. And it was crazy because one thing that gave me chills, dude, like watching, like you said, you go back, because of course I'm a big hip hop fan, man, hip hop head. And I'm looking at where music is going. It's not like trash. It's just different, man. With the younger generation being kind of junkies, but it's all about doing drugs and staying high all the time. But yeah, man, with Dre and those guys, man, just seeing the crowd, bro, and just seeing the unity, like amongst everybody, like every demographic of fan, like whether you were like old or like super young, it just brought you that vibe, bro. And like all the cameras, like everybody was just rocking, and I like that, bro. And it was unbelievable. It was crazy. Yeah, it was unbelievable, man. And 50, I'm not gonna lie, bro. 50 came down from the ceiling like a fat Batman. Honestly, bro, he looked like you saw the blood rush into his head. It was crazy.
See, but I didn't even know 50 was gonna be there. So when it cut to him and he was hanging upside down, I said, "Who in the world is hanging upside down?"
Bro.
And then he was at that chain upside down, so it said like 02.
It was like 20. It was
like 20.
He didn't know he was gonna be there. It was like they kidnapped him, finally let him go, and he and he was like, "Oh, I got to."
Well, you notice after he performed, he put on a t-shirt. He was like, "Man, I can't, wife beater's not working, so let me throw this t-shirt on." Black is slimming, black clothes are slimming, so he was wearing a black t-shirt after that. So that wasn't coincidence.
He came from the ceiling like a whole wedding cake. It was like a lot of layers, and I was like, I was like, "What the hell is it? I know 20 years. You can't do that no more." Who is that dude? Who is this guy?
Is that?
He came out with a headband like he played a ball game. I know he was sweating. I was like, "Bro, you got to relax. Never do this again." But I like 50. It was cool. So he did the one song. It was cool. He did his jam. He did his jam. 50. I'm a 50 fan. I like Kendrick. I'm up on his music. I liked him. Anderson .Paak was on the drums.
I didn't know that till you told me that. I saw Anderson .Paak's name, and I was like the whole time I was scouring. Or Anderson .Paak. Sorry, so I was scouring looking for him, and I was like, "Man, did I miss him? Did I miss him?" But I didn't even know he was on the drums. So,
bro, any entertainer.
Thank you for I'm gonna have to go back and watch.
He shows more teeth than I do, because he always like, he does that. So that was him because it was his teeth. But
Mercy said he shows more teeth than I do.
Hey, I'm brushing him. I got to show him. But he was like he was going for it. So
he was enjoying himself. Yeah, he was enjoying himself.
What was the set though? I didn't quite understand. Was it supposed to be like a train boxcar type of set? Like what was that?
I don't know what that was. It was very interesting, but I love like the cars in front of each one. So I mean, I don't know what it was. It was just a way for them to move in and out of that place and just have. I don't know. It was a cool setup, but I don't know like the story behind it or why it was what it was.
Okay.
I wasn't sure it was kind of weird.
Let me ask you this though. Who would you like to see? Okay, we're never going to see Dre again. He dropped the mic. You'll never see him again, and we shouldn't. But who would you like to see, or who do you think is a big enough artist that can galvanize every type of demographic and put on a classic show? Because Prince had a classic show. Dre just had a classic show. Michael Jackson, like I mentioned. And maybe, who else would you say? Maybe, I don't know.
Bruno Mars had a pretty good show. Mars,
yeah, his was really good.
Justin Timberlake's not the one with Janet Jackson, but the one he did by himself.
The Janet Jackson
the Justin one by himself was insane.
The Janet one was good too, though. Yeah, I like the Janet.
For other reasons. No, I've been clamoring for years for Foo Fighters to be the halftime show. I think that would be the greatest halftime show of all time.
Really? Okay.
The greatest rock band going like that. That would, I think, be the ultimate halftime show. Is if Foo Fighters rocked it. They're my favorite band, hands down. I think they would crush a halftime show.
I think
they would just say, "We're not going to play the second half. Super Bowl is 2 quarters this year, and then whoever wins, nobody cares. Foo Fighters are going to launch it at halftime and play for the next 3 hours." That would be iconic because I love the Foo Fighters. Sorry, I bumped the table.
No, you're good. I like the.
That's my wish.
Okay.
If it hadn't happened yet, I don't know if it's ever going to happen.
That's a good point, because didn't they try to just drop an album like a year or two ago?
Yeah.
That's what I thought. They had some good songs on there too.
Man, they could pull a medley of any of their albums, and they would rock a halftime show, in my opinion.
You didn't know I knew they just dropped the album. You were surprised by that. I listen. I think they would do a good show, man. I thought about.
How about you?
Talking about it. Honestly, bro, in my opinion, of course, I'm gonna say something hip hop related, but on the hip hop side of it, I would like to see Kanye do his show, even though he's like crazy. Like
Kanye out there, but he can do a show.
Bro. He can do a show.
He got anthems.
I like Eminem can do a show by himself. I would like to see him do a show, just him. Jay-Z, I would like to see him do a show. Britney Spears, I would like to see Britney do a show. But oddly enough, I actually bought a Britney Spears album. I went out and purchased it with my money.
Which one?
Her Circus album. I actually like that album. It was a good album. I like that. Anyway, we don't have to talk about it. But I like
all the viewers are leaving. Where'd all the viewers go? Oh, come back.
All two
that
of
number
them
dropped from 4 to 0 in about 3 seconds.
Yeah, man. No, I think so. It's quite a few artists, man. I think they could rock a show, man. So I'm glad the NFL is expanding it. It's going to be interesting to see, but with certain genres of music that kind of cross lines, like you said, hip hop, pop, rock music. I think at some point, maybe down the line, country music can, kind of bridge that gap and kind of bring in new fans, man. And that's how your genre survives, man. You got to bridge that gap. So I think Nelly tried
a cool collab at some point down the line. Way back, Aerosmith and Run DMC collaborated on "Walk This Way" type deal. Like some type of hip hop artist and rock act, maybe meshing up again and doing something like that. That pretty much saved Aerosmith's career at that point. I think they were trending down until when they and Run DMC did that.
Sometimes you need that, man. You need fresh ears, man. I would like to see Jay-Z and Linkin Park. They had the Collision Course album. I like that album. I think they could rock a show. Linkin Park, you hadn't heard from him in a while. So I mean, I think so stuff like that, man, to kind of touch different demographics, different generations, man. I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
So NFL did a
Funny
good
name
job
agrees with you. He wants Jay-Z and Linkin Park. So
yeah, man.
That would be a cool show.
You can't go wrong. Anything with Jay-Z, Linkin Park, especially those earlier albums, the early two albums, you can't go wrong with that. So
yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
that's
yeah,
cool.
Yeah, man.
So that was iconic halftime show. I would have
bro.
to admit that was iconic. That was a great 15-minute segment. I don't know how to get all that stuff set up
and broken down,
plugged in and working in a commercial break,
and then
for them to get up and rock that and then take it down.
Yeah.
In 5 seconds and play a game. So no Linkin Park.
To be fair, they do that at the fair every year. They'll put a huge Ferris wheel up, put 40, 50 people on at one time, and
we've got Keeb is our boy funny name.
Keeb, what it do, Mike?
What's up, Keeb?
My brother.
Keeb's an old friend of the fam. So
that's my man.
Thanks for joining us, Keeb.
Hey man, I miss you too, bro. I miss you. So second half, let's talk about second half.
Keeb's like one of my oldest friends, man. Me and Keeb go back like 20 years or longer. So
yeah, that's back when y'all used to both have hot tops. I remember that. I saw the pictures. I had hot top face, like kid and play.
Keeb can still grow the afro out. So
yeah,
only white guy I know that can grow a fro like that.
No perm. I like it.
No perm.
No perm. Napoleon Dynamite. But
yeah, that's him.
My man. So Cooper Kupp, bro. Second half, Cooper Kupp takes over. I mean, damn, GOAT year, man. I mean, could he done any more this year?
He had the greatest single season for any wide receiver.
Ooh.
Combined, like single season.
Okay.
Not career, but
I got you.
The Triple Crown, Super Bowl MVP, Super Bowl championship. I mean, if you add up all his stats from the regular season plus the playoffs, I mean, they're just ridiculous. It's a ridiculous number. It's almost like if you had two receivers, if you split his stats in half and had two receivers with half and half, that's two Pro Bowl receivers.
Exactly.
I mean, he had a phenomenal season. So,
think about it like this, though, bro.
Well-deserved MVP, although they could have given it to Aaron Donald because he single-handedly wrecked the Bengals' second half. But
that's a good point. He was getting double covered the whole game, too.
I feel bad because it probably didn't help Aaron Donald's MVP votes that it was the Bengals, because the Bengals line is so bad that he should have wrecked it. He should have wrecked that half.
Right.
As poor as that Bengals offensive line is, Aaron Donald should have done that because he's that dude. So it's like, yes, he took the game over, but at the same time, I think it hurt his MVP votes for the game just because of how bad the Bengals offensive line was.
Right.
So, and Cup caught the balls on the last drive.
Right.
When they were double covered, when everybody in the stadium, everybody watching on TV, everybody knew who was getting the ball on that last drive. Yeah, that one pass, Stafford wasn't even looking at him. He was looking at this guy and just threw it like that. And,
threw him home. Right.
And yes, and he got it. I mean, Cup was the truth on that last drive, and so it was a well-earned. I mean, he deserved the MVP. So I'm not sitting there saying that Aaron Donald got robbed of the MVP or anything, but it could have been split. If Aaron Donald would have gotten it, I would have said, sure, he deserved it too. But Cooper Kupp's a well-deserving MVP. He's a good dude. Right. I like to pull for good guys.
Right.
So he's a good dude. From everything I've read and everything I've seen, he's a real good dude. So I was really happy that Stafford too, man. Stafford in Detroit for 12 years.
Yeah.
Whatever. So I mean, he's a good guy too.
Yeah.
So I was happy that he won it, but
indeed, and to kind of put a bow on Cooper Kupp's season, you got to think about it, bro. Woods went down early, and for the longest, man, Kupp was the only offensive weapon that they had. They were rotating running backs. He didn't have a second receiver because Jefferson didn't really do exactly what you thought he was going to do as far as the hype. And then they get OBJ. OBJ starts out a little slowly, but even in the Super Bowl, bro, OBJ was on his way to getting the MVP himself. He could not be stopped.
He was
until the knee
he was
injury,
dominant.
He was dominating. And he went out with a touchdown and 52 yards receiving, and he went out with the second quarter. So he was well on his way. For sure to get that MVP, and he would have deserved it.
I thought he looked really good. He looked fast. He looked quick. He looked focused. I mean, I thought he was well on his way to having a career-defining game, and then
the turf monster,
and then
bro.
He just looked back, caught the ball, and his knee exploded. I don't understand what's going on with the fields on these dome stadiums, but it's costing people. It costs Bama in the championship game.
Yeah.
I mean,
they're not going to change it.
That's a whole nother podcast getting into that game. But anyway,
they're not going to change anything. I don't.
No. Well, they can't. Arizona's the only one that can wheel it outside and get for the sun and wheel it back in. But every other stadium, they can't put real grass in all these stadiums. And
listen, every stadium almost has a retractable dome. You can let some sunshine in there, man. Like you can water your grass.
With technology nowadays,
you can do it
with the money that all these teams have.
Right.
I figure there's got to be a way to keep natural grass in the game.
I would agree with that.
The more domes that get built, the more they put the synthetic stuff in.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's you can't have people just jogging and blowing their knee out.
Exactly.
I mean, J-Mo for Bama, dude, all he did was catch a ball, his knee exploded, and I was like, he didn't even make a cut.
Yeah, that cost us a game though, bro. I think we would have beat him, but yeah.
OBJ didn't even make a cut. He just reached back for a low throw and his knee blew out. And I was like, man, we're getting robbed of being able to see these players perform.
Good point.
Because of non-contact knee injuries. I mean, it's baffling to me. I don't understand it, but
good point.
Part of the game. Injuries part of the game,
Indeed. Well, since you brought that up, let's segue for a second. So OBJ, man, he's about 30 years old. His game relies on explosiveness. He does have good hands, but he's an explosive kind of guy. So given this second or third knee injury that he's had, ACL tear, is his career over? Should he go out? He got a Super Bowl ring. Should he retire, or do you think he'll be the same? Maybe not the same, but can he be effective on a different team?
Oh man, that's a good question. It would be hard for me staring at. Now, I've never torn an ACL. I've never been through any kind of rehab. I've never broken a bone or ligaments or anything like that. So I've never had to go through any kind of rehab. Mm-hmm. But is his love for the game enough that he's willing to go through the grind of another rehab, another off season of rehabbing? Because in the off season, if you're rehabbing, you can't train. So off season training and off season rehabbing is very different.
It is.
Is he up to another off season or rehab? He's a free agent. So maybe he would do it to come back to the Rams because he lives in LA. He's a Hollywood guy.
True.
Or, if the Falcons offer him a contract, he may be like, don't
worry about the
NBC,
Falcons,
Sunday Night Football, NBC looking pretty good.
Not with the Falcons. It don't don't worry about that. Well, dude, what I'm wondering, let's take what you said, like, let's kind of put that in the capsule. Like, not only is the training different, that type of injury, it takes 8 months? That's just like 7-month, 8-month injury, right?
I'm not sure what it is now with surgery, technology, rehab now. I mean, AP came back in 6 months. He came back. Well, he's free.
But even then, with 6 months, and he was a freak. They didn't even expect him to come back as soon as he did. And he was a different type of monster. OBJ is not. He's known to be injury prone. He's not that guy.
Yeah.
Fortunately,
his game based on quickness and explosiveness and that kind of thing. And so I don't know. I would like to see him play again. But I could see him calling it. Like, I got a ring. Yeah. I redeemed myself. I think he showed that he could still play.
I agree with that.
He took a lot of flack in Cleveland. I think a lot of that was the quarterback. Not all of it, but I think a good bit of it was the quarterback and the overall culture.
Right.
Playing in the snow and the grime and the muck, and it's Cleveland. I mean,
he never wanted to be there, bro. He never wanted to be there. I know.
Who wants to go to Cleveland?
No, LeBron. That was about it, and he left too. Twice.
I mean, apparently Jarvis Landry is the only one that willingly would sign with Cleveland. Well, Jadavion signed there because he needed a job. Nobody else wanted him, so he needed a job. But
yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know if it was more a combination of things, but he seemed to be re-energized and kind of discover his love for football once he got to Los Angeles and in that culture, in that locker room. So,
and they may bring him back cheap. They got a cap situation they got to work out, so they may bring him back cheap. But go ahead. What you saying?
Yeah. No, I wouldn't say anything.
So let me ask you this. Okay, kind of before the time's winding down. So one more NFL topic I want to ask you about. There's been a lot of buzz about Kyler Murray, bro, and the Cardinals. So Murray, taking the Cardinals stuff off his Instagram and social media and all that other crap. So
it's weird.
Hey, your Steelers need a quarterback, man. Y'all poaching for Murray, man? What's the deal? Oh, okay. Never mind. All right, my bad.
They won't do that. Cardinals won't give him up. I mean, he's still under contract and a rookie deal for one more year. But they would have to get a sweet deal for him.
He wants $50 million a year, bro. 45 is the line. So Aaron Rodgers, the Packers just pitched him a new deal for like 45. Dak got his contract, so he's next up. So I mean, are you going to pay him $45 to $50 million for Murray? I personally don't think so. So what do you do?
I mean, that's going to be the going trend is the market being set for quarterbacks. But remember something I told you and Charles way back in the day was when Dak got that money was that none of these teams giving these quarterbacks these mega deals are winning Super Bowls.
That's a good point.
And they're winning, but they're not winning Super Bowls.
Right.
They're I don't know if it has anything to do with that. One might be completely separate from the other, but if you go back and look at these guys winning Super Bowls, it's not these $50 million a year quarterbacks.
You're right. You're
right. Brady taking $20 million and the Bucs re-signing, the Bucs signing all these people, Gronk, Fournette, all these guys and whatnot to build a team that can win.
Right.
And I don't think you can do it with the salary cap the way it is. I just don't. I don't know. I mean, this will put it in perspective. Big Ben was going to count $42 million against the cap.
Good God. Yeah.
Now, if you give somebody $42 million against the cap, you got to be able to throw more than 10 yards. So
that's a good point.
I mean, these numbers. It's insane. But I think he rolled off, so I think he's off the books now.
Yeah, I think he is.
So
dude, what's the thing about it? At first, it was the question of, the running backs, right? Running backs overpaid. Can you win with a running back being your height? No, that was a no. Okay, we was like, all right, let's get that out of here. That won't happen anymore, except for that, for the Cowboys. Zeke, $18.2 million on the cap. We ain't got to worry about it.
50 yards a game.
Don't worry about that. So, and then we, Dak asking for the money, and then they immediately just plays like, an average quarterback, not a, $50 million guy.
He had a good season, but $75 million, that's how much you got this year with the salary and the bonus. but 75 million, you can't just have a good season. You've got to be great.
You got to be great.
And Dak wasn't that this year. He had flashes, but he was not great this year.
Well, think about it, bro. If you think about the NFL quarterbacks that are really like shining and doing their thing, I mean, you got Brady, you got Rodgers, you have Breeze. Those are the old guard. So with the young guys, the ones that are actually doing something were on their rookie deals. Like Josh Allen before he got read up, he showed you something. So it's almost to the point where you draft the quarterback. If he doesn't show you anything in those first 5, you almost have to move off of him because you're like, man, if I pay you, like we're like Burrow in the Bengals. Burrow's in his second year, he got you to a Super Bowl, right? So so you almost have to gauge it by that. But I want to ask you, what can they do? The quarterbacks want their money. The team wants to be able to spread the pie, as Jerry Jones calls it. So, like, what would you do? What would you do? And like, if I came to you like Jeff Qualio, financial extraordinaire, what kind of thing would you put together to kind of make both sides happy? Where the quarterback can get the money and the team can save money? Would you just say, hey, we can offer you this GM deal on the side? Like, what would you do?
Gosh, there's no real answer. I mean, there's a salary cap, a hard cap, but everybody wants what their maximum value is. So, I mean, who's to say what the value is of your left guard, but if you don't have a good one, as you saw in the Super Bowl, you're going to get your whole offense will get wrecked if you don't have good interior linemen, but you can't give a guard $40 million a year or $35 million a year. It's like, it's so weird. The pay scales. Quarterbacks should be paid the most. They touch the ball on every play.
Right.
But I mean, Arizona got no choice. Who else is the face of that franchise? There's no other reason to go tune in a Cardinals game other than Kyler Murray.
And D-Hop doesn't play like that, and Larry Fitzgerald's just out of it.
Fitzgerald gone. D-Hop is the truth, but he might catch 4 or 5 balls a game.
But
there's no other reason to watch the Cardinals other than Kyler Murray.
Agreed. Well, and not to cut you off, but I blame the teams themselves for the reason why we're in this situation. And I don't fault a player for getting as much money as they can get, but since the sense of loyalty to a team went away because teams would trade you just off the whim. Like for example, basketball reference. The Utah Jazz got rid of Joe Ingles. He got injured this year. He's been there 8 years. They just trade him, and it's like, and he's hurt. He built his life there. So I blame the teams. So on the one hand, it's like, man, maybe a franchise player like a Rodgers would be willing to give you the hometown discount, knowing that like the Cowboys' big 3, Michael Irvin is forever a Cowboy because he knows somewhere down the line Jerry's going to take care of him some sort of way. He'll give him an opportunity. Troy Aikman, the same thing. And these teams got away from that. So when these guys are blowing up your cap, it's like, well, maybe that's your fault. Maybe you should show some more loyalty to your players who, So I don't know. I'm with you though. I don't think it's a solution for that.
Man, it's a thin line.
It's a thin line. So. Anyway, but dudes, let's talk about this trade deadline before we run out of time because I know my man John, I believe he wanted to talk about it. I did too.
What's up, John?
What up, my man?
Old school Alpha employee.
Yeah, exactly. Real quick too, I have to give a shout out to my cousin Micah, who on Facebook.
What's up, Micah?
He had the closest prediction of a score. I think he said 24-28 or something like that. I think the score was 2023 or something like that. So
23-20, I think.
23-20. So he had the closest. So shout out to my cousin. But back to the NBA, biggest trade. We're not going to talk about all the trades because nobody cares. So the biggest trade, except NBA fans, but the biggest trade out there was Ben Simmons for James Harden, the Brooklyn Nets, the Philadelphia 76ers, and Jeff, you and I, we had a text off.
Pretty
about
heated
this.
debate regarding this.
It was in love. So who do you think won that trade, and who do you think is going to make it to the finals on the East?
Well, I think that Brooklyn won the trade because they added Seth Curry. They added that shooter out there. But I don't buy Ben Simmons. He's a good defender, at the points, whatever. But I mean, homie passed up multiple layups, wouldn't shoot. They threw him an alley-oop and he just caught it midair, landed on the ground, and head back out the other way. I mean, like that's how. Not literally, but that's how he ran from the basket. And I'm like, you can't run from scoring.
Right.
I don't buy Brooklyn just because I don't think you can just cobble together a squad and have them play a few games together. Kyrie playing half the games, I still think Durant made the egregious error leaving Steph Curry to go play with Kyrie Irving. I mean,
right.
there's not even the class of organization. I don't think is even in the same neighborhood. Golden State, Brooklyn.
By no means.
Play alongside Steph Curry for the next 5-6 years, or play alongside Kyrie Irving half the time, some of the time. Last year he just quit for 2 weeks because he needed a break. I guess off season wasn't long enough, so he just needed a break. So he just dipped out.
It was spring break, bro.
It's always something with this guy, and so I don't. There's no question his talent.
Right.
He's a baller, hands down. But he's just so flaky, man. You just can't. I don't know, man. You can't count on him, and I can't believe Durant left Clay and Steph. That just shocks me. Where they finals, 2 championships. They would have won the third one had KD not blown his Achilles out. Even with the Klay Thompson injury, had Durant been healthy that series, they would have waxed Toronto. Everybody knows it, including Toronto. That's why old dude jumped out of Toronto. Kawhi Leonard. That's why he bounced out of Toronto after 1 year, because he was like, I mean, look, we got the ship on a depleted Golden State team. I'm out before we got to come back and defend it, and we get the healthy Warriors. Well, plus he took the cash in LA. No, nobody wants to be in Toronto. Come on, except Van Fleet. He might be the only one.
And Drake.
Yeah, and Drake. But I think it's Milwaukee.
Okay.
I think it's Milwaukee's to lose. I know they're kind of like 38-22 is their record, or somewhere around there.
They're coasting.
Is their record? Right, they're not blowing the East away.
Right.
But in a 7-game series, Giannis just last year his motor never stopped.
Yeah.
Like even when he had that bad looking knee injury that we thought was worse than it was, but his motor just never ever stopped, and nobody was out hustling him. Didn't matter if there was a rebound, he was out jumping, he was out hustling. He just refused to lose.
Right.
And something about that dude, I don't see. I mean, in Durant, we were a toenail from going into overtime in Game 7 because Durant's toenail was on 3-point line when he drained that shot. So I mean, they were right there. But I mean, this isn't that team. This is a different team than it was last year. And I just don't trust Kyrie, man. You just never know. So never know that dude.
So let me jump in here. So here's the thing. I think I agree with you. I think it's going to be very difficult at this point in the season to add all of those pieces and make it and make a push, because you got to develop chemistry and things like that. And Ben Simmons is not in game shape. I agree with that.
Yeah.
He's a all defensive player. He hadn't even hit his prime yet. He's still young. Andre Drummond, you got a backup big that can get you 20 boards on any given night coming off the bench. Like you mentioned, Curry. So, and our back and forth was, I think Brooklyn can really push the Bucks. I think the Bucks are going to go to the finals, but man, Brooklyn really has a shot, depending on how fast they can gel. If not this year, next year for sure.
Yeah.
And the Bucks, to me, they're adding pieces. They're going to add it in the buyout market. They lost PJ Tucker, who was their little big man.
That's a big loss.
Yeah, that's a big loss. Who's their tough guy. Middleton is not a tough guy, and Drew Holiday is either. So, but honestly, I mean, dude, even going to Philly side, because we didn't even talk about them, I just don't like Harden and Embiid together. I don't see it. I like him.
A Harden guy anyway.
Yeah, he's an Iverson type. Like ISO Iverson ball does not win in this era. And the report was, and I saw the report was that Durant and Harden couldn't get along now because Durant is like, look, let's bring that Warrior style ball where we have movement and get the best shot. Harden wants to play ISO ball, and that doesn't win games. So they didn't learn from Iverson. Westbrook, you can't win like that.
Yeah. So it's stat sheet filling. You can fill a stat sheet playing ISO ball, but you can't beat the Bucks in 7-game series playing ISO ball.
You can't.
In my opinion, this is my opinion.
But here's the thing: I'm like, Harden couldn't play with Dwight Howard, who was a more so traditional big, one high volume type shooter. He clean your boards up and get the putbacks. He just won a couple lobs. He couldn't play with him. Now you got an Embiid who honestly is a generational talent. He just doesn't have the hardware to bag it up in the MVPs. He can hit the three. He can put the ball on the floor. Like literally, if you watch, they put this on social media. It was quite clever. They compared his game to Kobe's, and like the moves, the post up, fade away, things like that. He can do all that, and he's 7'1", 7'2". So
sure,
it's his team. He's gonna want the ball, and I think him and Harden gonna have a tough time making that work because I don't know. I just didn't like the trade. Me personally, I don't like them.
Yeah, I thought Brooklyn won that.
Yeah,
won that deal,
sure.
maybe, but
like 2 picks.
I don't trust Ben Simmons either. I mean, he's a hype anyway. He didn't show me
man.
much at LSU.
You sleeping on Ben, bro? You're
sleeping on Ben. I might be sleeping on him now. Keeb just texted me and said we're sleeping on the Heat, which you mentioned in that text thread. Watch out for the Heat. He said the Heat are going to surprise somebody. And
let's talk. Right. Here's the thing about the Heat, Keeb. Like, I like the Heat. I think the Heat have a good team. They don't have a star. I don't think Jimmy Butler's a number one guy. I think he's more of a 2, maybe a 3 at this point. I think he blew his load playing the Lakers in the bubble. That's my opinion. So I think they have a good. Here's the problem with the Heat. I like them. They play good team defense. They're very gritty. But their number one player is Bam Adebayo, who's an out of position big, right? Because he's a small, big guy. He's a hybrid dude. And he's not a guy that, with the game on the line, I'm not giving the ball to Bam Adebayo to get me a bucket in the clutch.
Right.
I can count on Jimmy to do that. But Jimmy has to do so much. He does the dirty work. He's a Swiss Army knife. So Duncan Robinson's not going to get you those buckets. Tyler Hero just didn't develop to the guy you thought he was going to be. So you brought in Lowry.
Inconsistent.
He's too inconsistent. He's young. He's inconsistent.
Yeah.
You got Lowry. He's kind of old. He's a gritty grind guy. So
forgot they had Kyle Lowry.
There you go. So that's what I'm saying. They probably have the number 1, number 2 seed in the East right now. But they're not. Dude, Giannis can run through every single person on that team. You have nobody that, even if you stop Giannis, Kyle Middleton, he's a streaky guy, but he can turn it up in the postseason.
Chris Middleton,
my bad. Chris Middleton. I'm sorry. And Drew Holiday. I said, Kyle? So think about Lowry. I'm thinking about Lowry. But so that's what I'm saying. So I think, honestly, I think the Phoenix Suns are going to go to the finals in the repeat against the Bucks. Phoenix is going to win this time. I think they're ready.
I think you're right.
I think they're going to win.
I was just about to say, all this talk about the East doesn't matter because the Suns
they're going to do it.
The Suns are legit, man.
I'm going to go on record and say this. They're going to run through the West in the playoffs. I think it's going to be pretty easy for them because the Warriors, with Draymond out, Clay is good. Clay still, he got some wiggle. He's still pretty good. But, man, I think that playoff pace and grind with him having been out, I don't trust Clay.
Clay heard you the other day when you were trashing him, and then he hit like 6 threes in the fourth quarter and blew the Lakers out or whatever they did.
Clay had 10 points. I took a big
3 threes in the fourth quarter. Yeah.
Yes, bro. He got hot, dropped 30. He dropped 20 like in a quarter.
That was it.
Yeah, it was over. And I was like, let me
Clay's the only one I could know that at any moment could drop 40 in a quarter and like that quick.
Dude. Yeah, I hate his afro though. I hate his fro and his headband. I hate that. Please stop that. Please.
Well, and Steph Curry's having the worst shooting season of his career. Dude. So I'm like, man, is that going to rear its head in a playoff series?
Well, dude, let me ask you. That's a good point. Let me ask you something. Curry's what, 31, 32?
Somewhere around there.
Yeah. So he's out. He's towards the back end of his prime, out of his prime. And with shooters, he'll always be able to shoot. But as you get older, your legs go. So you don't get as much lift on your shot. So I'm wondering the last 2 seasons, especially without Clay, Curry carried the load. And I wonder if it's finally catching up to him.
Yeah.
It could be. You never know.
Keith just said Clay dropping 40 without ever having to dribble.
Boy.
He didn't have to dribble.
And still not one of the top 75 players of all time.
Yeah.
But you put Dame Lillard, like Dwight Howard didn't make it, was egregious. You put Dame Lillard in, who hasn't won anything. So we don't have to talk about that. But so yeah, I think the NBA, now that the NFL is over, I'm focused on the draft, March Madness, and the playoffs. And even with March Madness, I'm just looking to see who's going to be a pro. I'm like, let me get some basketball cards. I'm gonna get your rookie card. I'm looking for that. But I don't know, man.
That's the way of thinking. We're getting to March Madness, man. Bama's got a big game tomorrow night.
Who they play?
Against Mississippi State at home. We're projected. Last I saw, Bama's projected a 5 seed or 6 seed or something. Man, we haven't been as good this year as projected, but a lot of younger players.
What happened though? They do they run the same offense as last year? Last year was 3.
They do. We lost a lot last year with Herb Jones and John Petty and Alex Reese.
Yeah.
A lot of those seniors leaving. Losing Herb Jones is big. Yeah, but we're just not shooting the ball well this year. We got a lot of the same shooters back, just not falling. Quinterly in SEC play shot almost 50% from 3 last year, and this year he's shooting less than 20.
Oh my gosh, you got to stop.
You know, I
shooting.
mean, that's just an egregious fall off. There's no explanation in that. So
I don't know how you explain that.
big game
don't
for
know?
Bama basketball tomorrow night, heading into because we play at Kentucky on Saturday. You know, Kentucky's ranked 4th, Auburn's ranked 2nd, Gonzaga's back number 1. Now we beat Gonzaga earlier this year.
Yeah, we did. That was a miracle.
They did go out to Seattle and beat Gonzaga, so that was a good that was a good win.
If we go far enough in the SEC tournament, that'll actually help us out having that Gonzaga win for strength of schedule. So that'll be a key win for us.
Yeah, we're definitely a tournament team. It's just a matter of seeding now, and what bracket we're in. But this is this team is maddening this year. I've watched every game this year, every minute of every game. This team is just maddening. How good they can be, and then turn around how bad they can be. Well,
let me ask you,
man,
what adjustment does the coach need to make? If you were the coach, you know, you've seen every game, you see the bad shooting, the poor shooting actually. Like, what would you adjust? Would you adjust the style of offense that you play, or would you do less practices? Maybe they have dead legs. What would you do?
It could be dead legs. I wouldn't change philosophy because I mean that's Nate Oates' offense is a lot of ball movement, a lot of threes, a lot of close twos.
Would you add more screens?
I might try add some more screens. Maybe it's with shooters you're just so touch and go. I mean, because the offense works if we shoot 35% from 3, the offense is working.
Right.
But we've been shooting like in the low 20s, which then you have to grind. You know, you have to get buckets the other way. But I wouldn't change because these guys came to Bama to play in this offense.
That's true.
The shots just aren't falling for whatever reason.
Well,
and then it affects them on the defensive end.
Well, hang on. Are they contested shots or are they good? Are they missing good looks? Or are they missing contested shots?
They've missed a lot of good looks this year.
So it's good looks. Okay.
They missed a lot of good looks.
Okay.
A lot of good looks this year. Now they've missed some bad ones, but they've missed a lot of good ones this year. Some of them go in the cylinder and come out. So it's like,
yeah, that's interesting.
So it's been a maddening team to watch.
Right.
You know, I'm not ejecting off of them by any means, but it's definitely been a maddening team to watch this year.
Okay.
Fun at times, but man, it'd be making me rip my hair out at other times, and I ain't got much to rip out.
I have none, so but I think, well, you know, with Bama too. I mean, really, let's be honest though. Is anybody beating Auburn and Kentucky in the tournament? I mean, you can get lucky, but who's the stronger team? Is Auburn?
I don't think so.
I
think Auburn's the best team in the league, and
okay.
I don't think it's. I mean, I've watched a lot of Auburn games this year too. They are extremely good. They are really good. I don't mind. I like Auburn basketball. I've been watching Auburn basketball for many years. I went to many games at Beard Eves just because it was 40 minutes up the road, and you could get tickets for nothing. Not anymore, but I've been to several Auburn games. And then when they first built the arena, before they were really good, when Lebo was the coach, you could get tickets for $10. And Keeb and I went to a game one year. Me and B-Rad went to a couple games where you could just walk in and sit.
I tried to go with y'all.
Yeah, we tried that. Wound up in a bar eating pizza, down $300 because some scam tickets. But you can't even get in the standing room only now for less than $300 now. I mean, it's impossible to get in there now. So
they got the number 1 pick, bro. It happens.
They probably got the number 1 pick. So they're a fun team to watch. Kentucky's playing really well right now. So it's going to come down. I think those two for the tournament for the SEC tournament, and they're going to make some noise in the big dance too.
I think so,
without question.
In my
opinion. I want to throw a quick shout out. This hat I'm wearing, it's
nice.
number 14. That's Montana Fouts. She's the pitcher for the softball team.
Okay, Montana.
Softball team just opened their season last weekend.
Okay.
3-game win. So their home season starts this weekend at Rhodes Field. So party at Rhodes this weekend with the Alabama softball team opening their home season.
Hope y'all get that win. Get that win.
I'm a big softball guy. I love watching softball. It's really fun to watch.
Okay.
I really have gotten into it the last couple of years. So I just wanted to.
Are you playing?
What this hat was?
Are you playing softball too a little bit? Something? Yeah. Is that you?
No.
And you can't be worse than me in the Alpha game.
I don't do this. Okay.
Oh, okay.
I watch.
You watch. Okay.
I watch and I critique. I critique everyone else that's doing all the playing and practicing.
I got you.
Your boy sits on the couch.
Yeah, look, look, that's why they call it couch casters. But I struck
That's
out.
why we call it the couch casters.
I
We park
struck
on the
out
couch.
on underhand slow pitch softball. I struck out. So that you can't get worse than me. I'm terrible.
I've heard. I remember you telling me about that. I was hoping you forgot about it.
I didn't forget.
But I did not forget. Unfortunately, I never saw it. Thank God. I don't know that I could have.
You look at me different. You look at me
I
different.
know I could have been friends with you if I'd have seen you strike out slow pitch softball.
Dude, I look in the mirror and just shake my head like, I'm sorry. You know, I just, cold sweats. I think about this.
Yeah. No, that's a lot of pressure at the Alpha game. So anyway,
it wasn't that much pressure. I didn't even tip the ball. It was underhand slow pitch. I didn't even tip it. So I tried to slide in the first. I did tip in the slid. They were like, you don't slide in the first. You slide. You don't play baseball, do you? I was like, no.
They didn't ask you back after that, did they?
No, I think he threw the bench. It was bad.
I think you moved to Texas right after that.
Mercy, you
in disgrace.
Grab some sunflower seeds. Go over there.
Grab some seeds, brother. There's no more for you.
Anybody else want nachos? Mercy's getting nachos.
While I'm heading up there, we'll get some nachos. You guys good? No? Okay, cool.
Everybody good?
I got you. Thanks, guys.
Cool.
I got you.
Don't laugh at me, please.
Don't laugh at me, please.
Nah, man. Well, we appreciate everybody tuning in tonight.
Yeah. Well, we about at the All-Star break too for the NBA.
Yeah.
So
that's
halfway through the season. That's coming up sometime in February is All-Star break. So
that's actually this weekend, bro. That's
the
this
halfway point of the season almost. Yeah. Playoffs start in June. This podcast should heat up around then. There should be some good discussion. Good discussion going there.
Got to talk draft. Man. We got a lot to talk about on that.
Got a lot to talk about coming up. NBA, NFL draft coming. Yeah, NFL draft coming in April, so that's a big deal.
That is a big deal.
Baseball, I guess they're never going to play again.
Don't worry about them.
I got my Yankees backdrop, but I won't be able to hang that because it doesn't look like they're going to be doing that anytime soon.
Don't worry about baseball.
Don't worry about baseball.
Well, you got
the only one that does.
You got softball, so shout out to the softball team. Hopefully, y'all get that.
Yeah, they play this weekend, so I don't know how many softball fans we have out there, but if you don't watch softball, you should give it a shot. It's really entertaining.
I believe that.
It's really entertaining to watch, especially if you come to the tournament time, regionals and whatnot. But I think I'm going to try to go to the game Friday, season opener Friday, and be my first time ever going to a game live. So I'm thinking we'll go right up there and check that out, see if what that's all about. So
you the good luck charm.
That.
Okay.
Maybe the bad luck charm. We'll see.
Can't be worse than me. If I go there, I'm the bad luck charm. I'll be with you in spirit. With a shamrock up my butt. We'll do it.
I'll be with you in spirit. That's right. That's right.
So we'll do it. We'll make it.
That's right. Well, everyone, we've been here for an hour, so I just want to say thank you to Kevin, to Keeb. Who else joined us? My mom, Michelle, Big Mike, my cousin Mike. Big Steeler fan. I can't wait till we get into some Steelers talk later because I'm gonna have Mike and Michelle come on the show with us. My cousin Mike is an epic Steeler fan.
Okay.
There's video evidence of his insanity when it comes to the Steelers, and I love it. I can't get enough of it. It's the greatest show going when my cousin gets riled up watching the Steelers game.
There you go.
If the two of us are together in the same room watching the Steelers game, it's something gonna get thrown, and it's really entertaining. Michelle's his daughter. She took a video of him during that Browns playoff game a couple years ago. We were down like 28-zip, 5 minutes in the game.
Man.
That was some of the greatest video. That was some of the greatest video I've ever seen. I watch it usually about daily just because it was some of the funniest stuff I've ever seen in my life. So
I got you.
Anyway, yes, Michelle remembers that. So
flashbacks.
It was epic. My cousin Mike is a legend when it comes to watching Steeler games. So I can't wait to have him on and to talk some Steeler football, to talk some Cowboys, talk some Bama. I'm excited about this. So thank everyone for joining us tonight. Thank everyone for subscribing to the channel, following us on Twitter, on Instagram. We got a Twitter page at CouchCastersPod, Instagram, same handle at CouchCastersPod. We're trying to throw some content on there just to kind of keep people interested. If you want to follow us there, give us a follow there. Who knows what you'll see on there. And I hope you guys will join us on Tuesday nights. Merk, it was a great time with you, brother. And sure enjoyed it.
Yes, sir. Likewise.
And we'll see everyone next week. All right. See y'all.
Peace.